Chapter 18. The Ninth Theory. When we got home there was a smog in the living room caused by Aunt Gloria's cigarettes. A smog is technically a mixture of smoke, fog and chemical fumes, but this was a mixture of smoke, and more smoke. Mum said there'd been no news, but we already knew this because Dad's mobile phone had not rung. I tried to tell her and Aunt Gloria about our trip to the London Eye, but Kat started coughing and Dad said we had a very pleasant walk by the river. Then Kat gave Aunt Gloria the bath oil, saying it was a present from both her and me, and when Aunt Gloria looked at the label, her lips went up. She said thank you, Kat, and thank you, Ted, and she added that it was a kind that she'd used when Salem was little. The little devil that he was, she said, forever pinching it, he liked the bubbles, blowing them up, giggling when they burst. Then she started crying, and Mum told Kat and me to go upstairs. Upstairs, Kat got out the wallet of photos and flicked through them at the rate of one a second. I was very excited to see them, but she wouldn't let me. In 18 seconds, 18 pictures of our back garden and the washing and the shed were all over my duvet cover. When she got into the first 18 shots, the ones taken on the morning of Salem's disappearance, she slowed down. I tried to look over her shoulder, but she jerked away. She went through them twice, then dropped them on the bed as if she was no longer interested. I picked them up and looked. Just a set of stupidly touristy shots, Kat said, like any others. There were scenes of the Houses of Parliament, Lambeth Bridge and the Eye, all from different angles. The best shot was the one Salem had taken of Kat and me on the Jubilee footbridge. It had Kat's face and mine close together, and behind us was half the London Eye and some bridge and river and the sky. Kat was smiling. My head was off to one side and my eyes were looking upwards as if I were thinking. Kat was taller than me. My head ended where her chin began. The last shot was the one I had taken. It had gone wrong. Instead of the London Eye, I had snapped some legs and headless bodies of the people near where we had been queuing. I arranged the photos on my desk alongside the souvenir shot of the capsule in which we thought Salem had been a passenger, and the list of theories. We sat in silence. Kat breathed out a long and hard. I don't even know what I expected to find, she said, shuffling the pictures about. I wish we'd just given Auntie Glo Salem's camera when we first found it. Now we'll have to explain why we didn't give it to her. And I bet when she sees Salem's last photo she'll just start crying again. She picked up the shot of her and me on the footbridge and threw it down again. A clue? As if. I picked up the photo. Let's keep the photos and the camera safe in my room until Salem's return. If he returns, Kat said, biting her lip. She took her head and swept all the photos up in a rough pile. But I agree. There's no point upsetting Auntie Glo. You don't have to lie, Ted. Just say nothing. Then Kat picked up the list of the theories. As for this, she scrunched it up and threw it in the waste paper basket. It's beyond us, Ted. I watched the paper crackle softly as if it was trying to reopen itself. When the corners reappeared, I took it back out of the rubbish and smoothed it in flat on the desk. Forget it, Ted, Kat said. I picked up a pen. Let's try a process of elimination. The world's most famous fictional detective, Sherlock Holmes, said that once you have eliminated all the possibilities, whatever remains, however improbable, must be true. I was eager to see if we could eliminate all the theories except my favourite theory of all, which was that Salem had spontaneously combusted. This would not have been a good outcome for Aunt Gloria, or for Salem, but it would mean that spontaneous combustion was a real phenomenon, and discovering that would have been an advance in science. Theories 1 and 8 can go, I began. Today we've proved that Salem couldn't have stayed in the capsule after it came down, and he couldn't have come out hiding under somebody else's clothes. I crossed them out. Drop it, Ted. That leaves 6. While you're at it, you can cross off the one about spontaneous explosion or whatever it's called. Theory number 5? Yeah, and the time warp one. Number 7? My pencil hovered over the list. But supposing we eliminate all others, and, oh, grow up, Ted. I wished Kat could spontaneously combust there and then, but she didn't. Her eyebrows came close together and her lips were right down, and then a tear came rolling out of her left eye and down her nose. I thought of something I hadn't thought before. Very slowly, I drew a wavy line through theories 5 and 7, even though a strange feeling went up my esophagus. Done, I said. Kat picked up the list as if she was interested again. She brushed off the tear. That leaves 4 theories, she said. 2, 3, 4 and 6. And 9, I said, remembering. 9? The 9th theory is the one I was going to tell you about last night, I reminded her. When the phone rang, you never wrote it down. She took the pen from me. You never told me what it was. Out with it, Ted. It'd better be good. It is. I started dictating. The night theory is that Salem never got on the eye in the first place. Kat got halfway through writing the words, then stopped and said it was daft. And I said it wasn't, and she said we'd seen him get on, and I said we had seen what we thought was Salem, but it was just a shadow, and could have been anyone. He turned and waved. Lots of people might have done that, I said. Not just Salem. But what happened to Salem then? Between when we said goodbye and when he got to the top of the ramp? I had not considered this. He might have stopped to do his trainers and decided to not get on after all, and come back down the ramp after we'd move away. And then he might have looked for us, but would vanish into the crowds. And then he might have got lost or run away, or got kidnapped. Kat closed her eyes. OK, Ted, I'm reliving the moment. I shut my eyes too, but all I could see was the wrong way round Zed and a line of boys, all Salem lookalikes, smiling and waving and saying goodbye, and walking to the edge. Ted, Kat said. I opened my eyes. I have to admit, it's a very clever theory. A good tingling feeling went from my esophagus up to my scalp. I smiled. But it's wrong, Ted. I stopped smiling. Wrong? I don't expect you to understand. The boy who waved from the top of the ramp, the way he stood and looked back, the way he turned and walked on. It was Salem. I just know it was. You just know? It's a body language thing. The good feeling I had turned bad. Body language is a form of communication, like speaking English or French or Chinese. But it has no words, only gestures. Humans and chimpanzees and meerkats and stingrays can read body language by instinct without having to learn it. But according to doctors who diagnosed me, people with my kind of syndrome can't. We have to learn it like a foreign language, and this takes time. You mean you saw something about the boy who waved that I didn't? Yes, Ted. Kat's voice was soft. She put a hand on my shoulder, which made the hairs on the back of my neck stick up. Trust me, it was Salem we saw. It just was. I took the pencil back from Kat and crossed off what she'd written for Theory 9. I crossed it out 3 times over. I thought it was the best theory of all until then. Now it was dead, almost at birth. Dead as a dodo, you could say.